رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه وأولياء ملته أجمعين أما بعد. Zakat is one of the pillars of Islam. It is Farz upon those people whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given the wealth. Some very basic questions about Zakat are with me. So I'll try to answer these questions. I hope, inshallah, after listening these questions and the answers, a person will be able to calculate how much Zakat is Farz upon him and how to calculate it and how to pay it. The first question is, when should I calculate my Zakat? Answer to this question is, there is no specific month as for fasting the month of Ramadan and for Hajj the month of Dhul Hijjah. The month and date of paying Zakat is when for the first time a person becomes owner of Nisaab. In other words, you can say the day when any person for the first time gets so much wealth on which Zakat is payable. This Islamic date is the day when a person should calculate his Zakat. The second question is the wealth on which Zakat is payable. Agriculture land, animals, gold, silver, cash, and merchandise. These are the things on which we have to pay Zakat. The name of that Zakat which is paid from agriculture land is Ushr or Nisf Ushr. Agriculture land, if it is rain-fed land, it means a farmer doesn't need to pay anything to irrigate. 10% of all of the produce of this land is Zakat of this agriculture land. But if it is canal irrigated land, it means a person has to spend money to irrigate, then Ushr will become half of it and its rate will be 5%. Next question is some details about land. We can divide that land which is in our possession into three different categories. Number one is agriculture land. Obviously, there is no Zakat on its value. We will not calculate how much value of this land is and we calculate Zakat. Its Zakat will be given from its produce and whatever we get from this land. As I said before, if it is rain-fed land, then it is 10%, and if it is canal irrigated land, then 5%. The second type of land which we can have is land for our personal use. For example, we buy a plot to build a house on it. So there is no Zakat on this land if we are owner of it. The third type of land is we buy any house, we buy any piece of land for trade. And our intention is today we are buying this plot. In next years its price will increase and we will sell it and we will get profit. So anything which you buy with the intention to sell and to get profit is your merchandise. And its Zakat will be on its value. So whatever value of that plot will be current value of that plot when you are calculating Zakat so you will pay zakat on value of this plot. Our next question is, what about animals? We said that wealth on which zakat is payable. So we said animals are as well on which zakat is payable. So again, we can divide animals into three different types. Some people, they have, for example, a buffalo, they have a cow, they have a goat to get milk for their daily use. So such animals are a basic necessity of life. There is no zakat on it. Second type of animal, some people, their business is, they have some buffaloes, they have some cows, and they get milk and they sell it. This is a means, this is the source of their income. So such animals, from where we get milk and we sell it, and this is our business, and we try to earn money. So these animals, zakat is not upon the value. Whatever income we are receiving from selling this milk, so this money we will include in our savings. So if at the end of the year we have some savings, we will calculate zakat and we will pay it. The third type of animals may be, some people, their business is they buy animals and they sell. So this is their merchandise. On the day when they are calculating zakat, if animal which is for trade is with them, they have to pay zakat on its value. Our next question is, if you want to know zakat is farz upon this person or not. So there are some conditions. Some conditions are related to a person, and some conditions are related to the wealth which that person owns. Firstly, conditions related to a person. The first condition is to be a Muslim. Obviously, zakat is not farz upon non-Muslims. Second condition is to be aqil. Aqil means he is not mentally disabled person. The third condition is to be baligh. He has reached the age of puberty. If any child before reaching age of puberty has some wealth, jewelry, whatever on which zakat is payable, so as long as the child doesn't reach age of puberty, zakat is not wajib upon him. And the fourth condition is to be owner of Nisaab. Now our next question obviously will be, what is meant by Nisaab? When we use this term, when discussing masail of zakat, this term is usually mentioned. If you have amount equal to Nisaab, then zakat is farz upon you. If it is less than this, then there is no zakat upon yourself. So what is meant by Nisaab? Actually, Nisaab is a minimum amount of wealth on which zakat is payable. Our beloved Prophet ﷺ fixed its amount. Two things the beloved Prophet ﷺ mentioned: gold and silver. If anyone has gold 87.480 grams or more than this, this is Nisaab of gold. This is the minimum amount of gold on which zakat is payable. If any person has silver only, then its Nisaab is 612.360 grams. If a person owns in his possession silver is equal to 612.360 grams, so then zakat is farz upon him. If the amount of silver is less than this, then there is no zakat. This is when there is only gold or there is only silver. The third thing is cash, in hand, in bank, or if we have given this money as a loan to someone. And the fourth thing is merchandise. As for cash and merchandise, merchandise means whatever we buy with the intention to sell it and to get profit. That is the merchandise. So cash and merchandise, for this one, the Nisaab is equal to silver Nisaab, and that is 612.360 grams of silver. Next thing, what are the conditions related? This was the condition related to, So what is a Nisaab? We have discussed it, what is meant by Nisaab. Now the conditions related to the wealth. First of all, this wealth on which Zakat is payable, and we counted four things: gold, silver, cash, and merchandise. First condition is the wealth is in your possession. Number two is it is of a productive nature. The things which are of productive nature, they are gold, silver, cash, and merchandise. The third condition is in excess of personal needs of life. Fourth condition is in excess of debt. And the fifth condition is the passing of a lunar year. After learning these conditions related to the wealth, our next question will be, what are the things of personal need of life? So they are, number one, house; number two, household items; number three, clothing; number four, anything used for traveling. It may be any animal, it may be any bike, it may be something which is used for traveling from one place to other. Number five is work tools for professionals. Number six is books for studying. Number seven is any animal for daily use. And number eight is food supplies. For example, we buy wheat, or we buy anything to eat or for the full year. So we store. So whatever we have stored for our food, so this will be counted in personal needs of our life. Here, another question is in front of myself, and that is things on which Zakat is not payable. We don't need to pay Zakat on it. Number one, objects of personal needs. We have discussed it in detail. Number two, anything which is a means to earn money. For example, anyone has a car and this is used as a taxi. This is a means of earning livelihood. House to let. This is a means of earning livelihood. Tools of a professional. Fittings in a shop. So these things, there is no zakat on these things. And number three is whatever is spent during the year. For example, if any person, he earned £20,000 per year, and from these £20,000, he spent £19,000, and on the day when he is calculating zakat, on that day only 1,000 is with him. This is his saving. So zakat is only on this 1,000. Whatever is spent during the year, there is no zakat on it. Our next question is how to calculate. Then after learning these things, the things on which zakat is payable, the things on which zakat we don't need to pay. So we concluded that only 4 things we will count. All other things we will not count for paying zakat. And these 4 things are our gold, silver, cash, and merchandise. As for animals and agricultural land, so that's a different thing. We will discuss about it inshallah later on. Now, these 4 things, how to calculate? If you have gold only, for example, any one of our daughters, she got married, parents gave him some gold, and this gold is 87.480 grams or more than this. She doesn't have any silver, she doesn't have any cash, she doesn't have any merchandise, only gold is with her. So if this gold is equal to this Nisaab, then she will pay zakat 2.5%. And if it is less than this, there is no zakat on it. If someone has silver only, then its Nisaab is 613 grams. So if it is less than this, there is no zakat on it. If any person has cash only, no gold, no silver, no merchandise, so if this cash is equal to the price of 613 grams of silver, zakat is farz upon this person. And if any person has merchandise only, then its value should be equal to 613 grams of silver. But if any person has 2 or more than 2 things from these 4, some gold, some silver, some cash, some silver, some merchandise, some gold. So if any person has more than 1 things from these 4, then calculating zakat will be whatever is in his possession. He will calculate its value. Then we will consider that money as well which we have given as a loan to someone. So we are responsible to pay zakat on it. But I think about this Farz we will discuss inshallah in next question, because this is a separate question as well. So for calculating zakat, we will take value of gold, silver, merchandise, cash, whatever we have. Now if we have any debts to pay, so we will deduct, we will exclude these debts. Whatever is remaining, if its value is equal to Nisaab of silver, then zakat is payable, and 2.5% we will pay on it. So this is the easiest way to calculate zakat. Now on this, the next question will be that loan which we have given to someone. Some money someone borrowed, and this money is with him. We are responsible to pay zakat of this money. We have 2 options about that money which is with any other person as a loan. Either when we are calculating our zakat, what is value of gold with us, silver, cash, merchandise, so after adding it up, we will add up in that loan which we have given to someone, and we will pay zakat now. The second option with us is when this loan is returned. We don't pay zakat now, so we are waiting when this debt will be paid, so we will pay zakat of it. So when this loan will be paid back, we have to pay zakat of the previous years as well. For example, after 5 years, someone he owes £1,000, and after 5 years he returned this money back to us. 5 years we were waiting when this money will be given to us back, we will pay it zakat. So now what will we do? First of all, from this 1,000, zakat is £25, so we will exclude for the first 1 year. Rest of the amount is 975. So for the second year, we will calculate zakat on £975. So we will exclude from it. Then for the third year, whatever is remaining, then we will calculate zakat on it. So in this way, we can pay its zakat. So the both way are right. If you pay zakat when you are calculating other things and you calculate this amount with it and you pay zakat, it's a better way. But if we don't pay at the moment, we are not committing a sin. So when this money is given to us back, so we can pay zakat of it. Second type of loan is someone owes some money, but he refuses. He denies. He doesn't acknowledge that I owe something to you. We don't have any evidence to prove that this person owes some money for us. In this case, for example, if after 5 years that person listens to speech of any alim or he reads any book, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps him and he thinks that whatever I owe and I'm not paying back, on the day of judgment, his accountability will be very, very severe. I will have to hand over my good deeds as a compensation to this money which I'm not giving back. So this person realizes his mistake and he returned this money to us. So such debts on which we don't have any evidence with us and the person doesn't acknowledge, he doesn't admit, so the period in which this money is not returned, we are not responsible to pay its zakat. For example, after 5 years, that person returned this money back to us. So for these 5 years, we don't need to pay any zakat. When we will receive this money, now after 1 year, we will be responsible to pay zakat on this debt. Now after this one, another question is, we will exclude debts which we have to pay from value of our gold, silver, merchandise. So some details about these debts which we will deduct. About this, ulama kiram say, first of all, personal loans, if we have borrowed some money from someone. So all of it we will exclude from it. Number two, if there is any finance, any mortgage, so ulama say, because bank cannot demand all of this money to pay back at once, they can demand only that installment which is due in that month. So we will deduct only one installment of that month, not all of this debt. Next thing which we will exclude or which will deduct from value of our gold, silver and merchandise before paying zakat is, if any person didn't pay zakat of the previous years. For example, 2-3 years he didn't pay zakat and now he calculates that zakat for previous years is due upon myself and I didn't pay. So this is a debt upon this person. So this money will be deducted and on rest of the money zakat will be paid. Another debt which may be upon us is mahr of the wife. So sometimes at the time of marriage, mahr money is fixed, the husband doesn't pay. So it is paid when the woman demands. So ulama say that mahr of a woman, if she demands, pay my haq mahr, and you are going to pay this mahr money, so obviously you will deduct from it. But if she is not demanding and your intention is not to pay this mahr to your wife, so this debt will not be deducted from the value of your gold, silver and whatever you have. So this is a very simple way of calculating our zakat. Whatever is gold, silver, merchandise and cash, calculate off all its value. If you have any debts, exclude from it. Whatever is remaining, 2.5% you will pay on it. As for that money which at the moment is not with you but it is yours, you have given as a loan to someone, So about this one, you have two options. One option is when you are calculating your zakat of other things, you pay zakat on this loan as well. And the other option is when this money will be given back to you, then you will pay its zakat. One detail is remaining, and that detail is about the animals. As we said before, the animals which are for personal use, there is no zakat on them. Animals which are for trade, obviously zakat is upon the value, but those animals which usually in fiqh books are mentioned, some people, they have a lot of animals, hordes of animals. They are not for trade. They are having a lot of, for example, 100 goats and sheep. They are not stall fed. This is one condition. And most of the year, they are grazing outside. And the second condition is these animals are not for trade. So the owner of these animals, he is having these animals for breeding. When and whenever he needs for his personal need, he gives some to someone. So they are not for trade. Those animals which are for trade, so their zakat is on their value. So that's a different thing. But those animals which are for personal need, no, they are for not stall fed, and they are for personal use. Most of the year they are grazing outside. If they are camels, if a person has 5 camels or more, then zakat is payable on it. Cows, if they are 30 or more, then zakat will be payable on it. And goats, minimum number is 40. So because these animals we don't have, so we don't need to go in details about it. The last thing in these questions, inshallah, in another session we shall try to discuss the questions about to whom we can give zakat, to whom we can't give zakat, how to pay. So this will be in another session. The last thing, when we calculate zakat, and it is a big amount, so we feel some feeling in our heart, stinginess, and our heart is not motivated to pay this zakat. So what can we do to convince ourselves, and what can we do to motivate us to pay whatever is due upon ourselves? For this purpose, two things are very, very useful. Number one, learning something about the punishment in the hereafter if we don't pay zakat. And this punishment is very, very severe punishment. The second thing which will motivate us to pay zakat is our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's hadith, in which our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever anyone, meaning of that hadith is, I'm not reciting words of hadith, I'm not translating it. So whatever message of that hadith is, I'm trying to discuss it. Message of that hadith is, whatever you spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by this spending money, your wealth doesn't decrease, it increases. It increases. So very simple question will come in our minds. I had 1,000 pounds. I gave 25. So rest of the amount is 975. So in my open eyes, I can see that money is decreased. And you are saying that the Holy Prophet ﷺ says money doesn't decrease, it increases. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us return for spending money in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this worldly life and in the hereafter. So whatever reward is in the hereafter, that's a different thing. In this worldly life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us return, and this return is given in 3 different ways. If after spending anything in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in next days of your life, you watch your condition very carefully. So with one of these three ways, you will see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given return at that spending in this worldly life. Number one, your money will increase. And you will see that your income has increased. It may be your wages, there is increase in it. It may be some guests come to your house and they are giving gifts to your children, and some money is coming from outside. So different ways Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to give you its return by increase in this money, which you can see by your own eyes. The second way is, you can't see with your eyes that something is increasing, but there is unseen barakah. Like our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a bowl of milk, and he said to Abu Huraira, give to the companion to drink. 70 companions of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they drank from it, and amount of milk is the same. So obviously there is something coming in which is going down throat of these companions. So this is unseen barakah. The third thing, you are going to suffer from a loss, maybe in form of any accident, maybe in form of any sickness. So you are going to suffer from any loss. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't come from outside in your pocket, but whatever was going from your pocket outside, spending in these different things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keeps it safe in your pocket, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saves you from different types of calamities. And in this way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives increase in our wealth. I hope, inshallah, if we think about it, so then this will be a very big encouragement. Once we will spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we will observe next days of our life very carefully. So when really we will be able to acknowledge, we will be able to see that increase which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us in this worldly life, so this will be a very big motivation. With this dua, let's finish. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to pay whatever is due upon us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And this should be only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.